and welcome back. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. Today we're going to be going over the Chanel Spring 2021 collection. And as we all know by now, this collection has, it's been a little bit of a mess. So let's go through what I got. And we're going to start off with an unboxing, and then I'm going to go through product information and all of those items. So here we go. So we are opening my Chanel Spring collection. So look at this ribbon. I like the ribbon because, you've got these darker accents down here at the bottom that are feathering in. It kind of reminds me of, like grass, although it's like black or dark blue or something. All right, so I ordered this from Chanel.com. This is how it came packaged. So I have the blush duo here, and I ordered the 2 Velvet Extreme lipsticks that are part of this collection, as well as the new lock in Dark Blossom. And I also ordered the mascara, and unfortunately I forgot I ordered this when I was putting on mascara a few minutes ago, so we'll have to test this one out later. But I ordered the Metal Terracotta, which looks to be like a bronzy brown kind of shade, and it's a limited edition shade, but I'm very curious. I love brown mascaras and I love colored mascaras, so I thought this would be fun to try. And then these are just the samples that I selected. When you order from Chanel.com, you can pick 2 samples. So I have a Rouge Coco Flash sample in 82 Live or Live, and a La Mousse. Now the Spring 2021 collection on Chanel has changed a few times. Originally, we were supposed to get those 2 eyeshadow quads, Golden Meadow, and I forget what the other one was called, but they are now exclusive to the UK, online only at Chanel. So if you are interested in picking them up, you can DM Tavia at Chic Profile Official on Instagram. She has personal shopping services that she provides for a fee. So if you really, really want those, definitely contact her and you can work out an arrangement with her. However, they do not seem to be coming to the US at this time. Now, I don't have any inside information or anything, but those quads were originally presented on the US site. The one was even available for pre-order. The other one was marked as back order. So my guess is that these quads were planned on, they were planned to be released here in the US, and because of COVID, possibly some sort of shipping restriction or something, their shipment was not able to make it over here. And keep in mind that there is a lockdown going on over there. So there's a possibility that these quads were already produced and we just weren't able to get a shipment, because I highly doubt that they would have started promoting that and releasing it online if they didn't think it was forthcoming. So my guess is something happened, perhaps their shipment got lost, who knows? But I still think that we're going to end up getting the quads at some point in the future, and possibly, part of a future collection. It's just a total guess though, based on the events that have happened, because those were on the website, then they took them off, they canceled everybody's orders, and then they replaced it with a re-promote, and they started re-promoting the Chanel Tisse Rivoli quad along with Warm Memories. Then the next day, they switched it from Tisse Rivoli or Tisse to Tisse Essentiel and still Warm Memories. So I don't know what's going on, but the fact that they keep changing what they're re-promoting, it just shows that they weren't very organized, and that wasn't the original plan, in my opinion. So if you're still looking for those quads, have hope that they may come here in the future. But if you really want them and you don't want to take the chance, DM Tavia at Chic Profile Official, and her information is down below in the description box. Now, onto the items that were released. Now, they do have some items that were re-promoted as well. As I mentioned, the Warm Memories quad, which is what I have on my eyes today. So that's this one here. And it's a similar color story to the 2 that we didn't get. This one's more like dusty roses and so forth, whereas the other one looks more like brownish reds or brownish pinks. So, this one's more peachy and mauve and so forth. So this is what I have on my eyes today to go with the collection. And then they also re-released or re-promoted one of the new locks that was released with the 20 shades for the Lock collection, but they also came out with one new limited edition one, which I did pick up. So I picked up the blush duo. This is the Fleurs de Chanel duo blush, or blush and highlighter duo. This is made in Italy and it's 8 grams, has an 18-month shelf life. I have used this, as you can tell. And, you know, I think it is a gorgeous blush duo. So as you saw during the unboxing, it comes with this half moon brush. So you just have a little tray on here. Your brush goes on this and then it closes up. And of course it comes with one of the velvet pouches. Now, unlike the holiday collection, this comes with your classic white logo, and we've got the highlight and the blush. So let me swatch those for you. Okay, so here's the highlight, here's the blush. And you can see that these are going to be peachy shades. So the blush is like a peachy coral, and it's a really beautiful shade. And the highlight is going to be a peachy metallic shade as well. So it's not a peachy champagne, it's just like a peachy highlight. So it's a peachy shade. It's definitely lighter than the blush. And I have applications of this blush in 3 different ways. So first I'm going to show you the application of the blush with the 2 of them mixed together, which is probably my preference. That's probably how I will wear it most of the time. And then I have the blush and then the highlight above it, which is the traditional method of application. And then today I have the highlight underneath the blush, a la Wayne Goss. So let me go ahead and show you those clips and then we'll go through the next item. So we are going to get started with the blush duo. And this, you can see the box is color coded. This is a blush and highlight duo, Fleurs de Chanel, which I believe means springtime flowers. And inside we have, this is the traditional size that they come out with for the, different collections. You have the half moon brush here, and then this is the duo. So I think it's gorgeous. I cannot wait to try this out. And I'm gonna bring you in closer and we're gonna test it out. So today we're gonna test it by mixing both colors on the cheeks. So on my face, I have the Clé de Peau Radiant Cream to Powder Foundation and a very light dusting of the Sisley Photo Putre Compact in Rosy. And that's it. So we're gonna mix these 2 together using the Sonia G Cheek Pro brush. Okay, so the powder comes up fairly easily, but it's not like powdery in the pan. You can see it, can't really tell. Get a little bit more here. And you can definitely see that sheen there. We're gonna buff that out in a minute. Let's do the other side first. So wearing these colors together reminds me a lot of the holiday blush highlighter, but so you can see that it's a pretty similar sheen. I actually think wearing them together, I've gotten a little bit more of a golden sheen from this one. The color story overall, this is much peachier than what you have from the holiday highlight. So I'm gonna take the Sonia G Smooth Buffer and just buff that into my cheeks a little bit more. Okay, so this is the duo together. And tomorrow we'll try it out with the blush and the highlight separate. Today we are going to start off applying the blush and then the highlight separately. And we're going to use the Sonia G Classic Cheek On my face, I have the Coach& Do Aqua Foundation in 002 and a very light dusting of the Sisley Photo Puja Compact in Rosy. So we're going to go into just the blush at first. So here's the blush. And on the other side, I'm going to apply just the highlight first, just so you can kind of see it on its own and not have any of the blush kind of in the way. Taking the Chikuhodo Z Series highlight brush. And I can't remember what number it is, maybe like Z5 or something. So this is it. And let's see here. Do you see that sheen? So that can be pretty subtle. We can add a little bit more here. So there's the highlight. Very pretty peachy pink shade. All right, going back to the blush. All right, just gonna kind of blend this a little bit better here. And I'll add a little bit more just so you can really see it on camera. But definitely I don't need this much in real life. There we go. So you can see that this blush can definitely be built up. I would probably venture a guess and say that it would work from fair to medium skin tones. And I think if you had a deeper skin tone, if you wanted a really light flush of color, you could really build it up that way. But I don't think it's going to be the best. All right, so let's add the highlight on this side here. Just gonna add this right above. There we go. Add a little bit more just to match the intensity of the blush application. And then let's go ahead and add the blush over on this side. All right, so here we go with the blush and the highlight separately. And we are going to move on to cheeks today, and we're going to apply the highlight underneath the blush today. So I'm taking the Chikuhodo highlight brush and put this on, and I'm just kind of putting it all over the cheek area now. You can see the highlight there on its own, just kind of a soft glisten. We'll add a little bit more. There we go. And then I'm going to take the Sunyoji Classic Cheek Brush for the blush. Okay, so here is the blush over the highlight. I'd love to know which blush application method was your favorite, mixing them together, traditional blush and then highlight, above it, or pairing the highlight underneath the blush. And I'm just gonna go ahead and take the Sunyoji Smooth Buffer and just give this a final blend. Okay, before we move on to the next item, I'm just going to swatch Warm Memories next to the blush so you can see how well they pair together. And the Warm Memories, again, came out with the Spring Summer 2020 collection. along with, there was another quad. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. But anyway, this one was not my favorite. So these are the shades, but you can see that the blush duo actually pairs really, really well with the Warm Memories quad. So if you already have it, you know, this might be a nice addition to your collection. And you can see that even though you've got some like brownish undertones in some of them, they're really more mauve with like this peachy pink tone to it. And this more metallic shade down here is an orangey peach, whereas these are a little bit pinker. And I think they complement each other pretty well. So overall, my thoughts on the blush and highlight duo. I really like the blush and highlight duo. I think it is, not only is it beautiful with the embossing and so forth, but I really like the color combinations. And I think these, like, it's so hard to find a nice coral blush, in my opinion. They're often too orange or too pink. This one is a little bit on the orangier side than what what my preference is, but it works. I really like it, and I think it's a really pretty shade, and I think the highlight with it pairs very nicely. One of the things that I really love about this highlight, and I mentioned this during one of the application sections, is how seamless it looks on your skin. It really gives you a nice glow and a nice sheen, but you don't see particles on your skin. It really melts with your skin, and you can definitely see the sheen. You can build it up, you can make it more evident, but you're not going to see any chunks of like glitter or sparkle or anything like that on your cheeks. It looks very natural and seamless. So I really love that, and I pretty much always pick up these whatever the highlight component is from Chanel's recent collections. I have been absolutely loving them. And this blush shade, I think it's going to work really well for fair to medium skin tones. I think once you get past medium, you're going to really have to build it up to get something as pigmented as this. Now I do think it's possible, but I think you're going to be using a lot of product, and you really need to use something firmer like this smooth buffer brush. This is from Sonia G, and if you use something like this to apply the blush, I think you can definitely build it up to get something deeper, but I just don't think that this is going to be quite impactful enough for most people with deeper skin tones. If you're looking for something that's more of that barely there look and you have a deeper skin tone, this may fit that bill. But if you're looking for something more evident, I think this one's going to be a little bit too light. However, if you've got really fair skin, you can go in with a light hand with this and it looks beautiful. It is a pigmented blush. You don't need to press hard to get a lot of product or anything like that. So, start off with a light hand and you can work your way up. And next up, we have the Le Volume de Chanel mascara, and this is shade number 120, Metal Terracotta. And I am really enjoying this mascara so far. I do have a few applications to show you. So I have it on top of another mascara. I have it on its own with no primer or anything. And then I have it on top of the Chanel La Base mascara, which is a white primer. So let's take a look at this and then we'll come back for my thoughts. Now, I think even though I put on mascara already, let's go ahead and see what it does on top of another mascara. So I have the Jones Road mascara on, and we're gonna add this. So this is one of the Le Volume de Chanel mascaras, and again, it's shade 120, which is a limited edition terracotta shade. Look at this. All right, so I have to say it's a little bit more, we'll see how it goes. So we're gonna add this right on top, see if it's noticeable. You can see it's definitely increasing the length, but I don't really notice too much of the color on top of the black. You can see it in spots, but I wouldn't say it's a major change. We'll have to try it tomorrow on its own. And I don't have any mascara on the lower lashes, so let's go ahead and test it out here. So I can see the color there. It really looks more like a soft brown to me, like a soft reddish brown. We'll have to see if there's more coppery accents when we put it on my bare lashes tomorrow. I have to say, now that the mascara has dried, I can actually see the mascara kind of catches the light and you get like a little coppery glint to it. So definitely curious to see how this works on bare lashes or over a lash primer. Now let's move on to the mascara. So first, can you see how long my lashes are? And then we're going to add the low volume. So here's with the mascara. See it there? It's definitely added length. And honestly, while it's wet, I don't see too much of that like copper or terracotta shade. We're gonna let that sit for a minute and we'll do the other eye. I'm just gonna go ahead and use my Tweezerman eyelash comb a little bit. So this is the mascara now that it has dried. And I added a little bit to the lower lashes. I feel like you can see a little bit more of the coppery tint on the lower lashes, but on the upper, it really looks more like a brown mascara would. So tomorrow we will try it with the mascara base and see whether that brings out any more of the kind of coppery terracotta glint. So today I applied the Chanel Warm Memories quad that was released last spring summer collection and is being re-promoted this year. So we're going to start off with lashes. I did curl them using my Sora eyelash curler. We're going to use the La Base mascara first, and then we're going to add the terracotta. Okay, so I have the La Base on, and now we are going to look at the terracotta and see if this makes more of a difference. And you can see the drastic difference in length, and there's definitely more volume as well. Okay, so here's the terracotta. I'm going to run through it with my Tweezerman eyelash comb, and we're going to let it dry and just see whether or not the color is a little bit more evident. Okay, so here are the eyelashes after they have dried, and you can see that it's basically a medium brown. I don't really see any coppery glints. Moving on to the next product, we have the mascara, and this is Le Volume de Chanel in number 120 Metal Terracotta. And every time they come out with one of these in a color, I pick it up. So I remember many years ago, they had like a burgundy one, they had purple and so forth. I had all of them. I had several of the purple because that was my favorite. I wish they would bring it back. I was very excited to see this, and I knew as soon as I saw the promo for this, I would be picking this up. Now, I was hoping, if you look at the pictures of it online and so forth, it looks like it has more of a, mascara is really hard to swatch, but it looks like it has more of a coppery tone to it, kind of like a coppery glint. But this really is more of just like a medium brown. So it's got a little bit of sheen to it, and you can kind of catch a light on it and get a little bit more of a glint. But honestly, when I put it on my upper lashes, it's not that noticeable. I can see it a little bit more on my lower lashes. I'm not sure why that is, but it is a little bit more evident on those. It's a beautiful shade, and I really like it. I don't regret purchasing it. I'm actually very pleased with it. It would be interesting to have something with more of that metallic glint, but this is definitely going to be more wearable for every day. And if you're familiar with my mascara loves, I love brown mascara. A lot of brown mascaras are brown black, which, you know, are nice, but I prefer something more brown. And this fits that bill. If you have lighter colored eyelashes, then I think this would be a really nice option, not something as harsh as a black. And, you know, it's just a really nice shade. So I'm loving the mascara. I love the Le Volume de Chanel formula in general. You can see that it definitely gave me length and volume to my lashes. I don't typically go in with multiple coats because I don't really need to. So I do think it's a great formula and a great shade. So for me, I definitely am very happy with the mascara. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, I haven't used this yet, but I have swatched this. This is the bronze eyeliner from Chanel, the 522. And this is a limited edition shade. And I just wanted to show you how close they are because swatches online made me think of this. And the bronze you can see is going to be, it doesn't have quite as much red in it, but you can see like that metallic sheen in there. There's like some gold sheen in there. And I guess I was kind of expecting more of a similar sheen in the mascara. So overall, so far, 2 for 2. Let's move on to the lip products. And one more thing I forgot to mention about the mascara, it's made in Italy. It has a 6-month shelf life and it has 6 grams in it, or 0.21 ounces. So let's go ahead and move on to the lipsticks. With this collection, they released 2 new limited edition Rouge Allure Velvet Extreme lipsticks. And I picked up both of them. They are made in France. They have an 18-month shelf life and they are 3.5 grams or 0.12 ounces. If you're not familiar with the Velvet Extreme line from Chanel, it comes in matte black casing. I have to say, I just recently picked up my first one of these, so the formula wasn't super familiar with me until now. And I did want to mention, I meant to include these in my Velvet lipstick compare on Monday's video, and I completely forgot. So I am going to include a little comparison of these and the Rouge Allure Velvets from the Lion collection as well at the end of this video. So this is the Rouge Allure Velvet Extreme, and these were $40, I believe. And this here is the case. You can see it is a click opening. And this is the shade Pivoine Noir, number 136. This is what I have on my lips right now. And I'm gonna swatch this on my hand. So that's one layer there. And there it is built up. Then we have 134, Eclosion. And this is going to be a pink shade. And here it is. Let me build that up here. So you can see that it's a bit of a warmer pinkish reddish shade. So it's kind of like a deeper salmon. And then the other one that was new is one of the new Lock formulas. This is number 77, Dark Blossom, and they are also re-promoting another one that is part of the permanent line. However, I believe Dark Blossom is a limited edition, and I have to say this has become my new favorite Lock from Chanel. It is stunning. So this is what it looks like. You can sheer it out or you can build it up and get this shade. And it wears very well. It's comfortable on the lips. It's beautiful. So I do have application of each of these. Let me go ahead and share that with you. And then we're going to finish up with my thoughts. And then for lips today, let's go ahead and use the 77 Dark Blossom shade. There it is. It definitely looks deeper than I was expecting. That's one thin layer. And let's add a little bit more here. I have to say, I really love this color. So I do think I should have used a lip liner. I'm gonna go ahead and add something on afterwards. I'm gonna take Nude Brun from Chanel. Even though the color doesn't match, it's always a good shade to use. And I'm just gonna have one more coat of the Lock. And I'll show you this look from a distance. All right, so this is the look from a distance, and I'm really enjoying these so far, so can't wait to play with them again tomorrow. Next, we are going to use one of the new Chanel Velvet Extreme lipsticks. This is number 134, Eclosion, and this is a beautiful pink shade. So you've got the click top here, pull this out, here it is. So normally I would use this with a lip liner, but I want to make sure you can see the color clearly. For me, out of my lip liner collection, I think I said eyeliner, but out of my lip liner collection, I would go with the Chanel 172 Bois de Rose, which looks like this. You can see that with one layer, there's still sheerness to it. I can still see some of my natural lip color through this. So this is the shade. It's a little bit of a messy application. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit and add the lip liner, but this is what it looks like on its own. So this is the lipstick after I added the Bois de Rose lip liner around the edges. And I think it's a really nice bright pink for summer. And this is the final look from a distance. And you can see just how intense the highlight can actually get. And one of the things I really love about the Chanel highlighters in general is that you get this really like vibrant sheen from them, but yet there's no like sparkles, there's no chunks, you know, it's not glittery. It transitions seamlessly with the rest of your face, and it really just catches the light and just it makes everything look kind of young and fresh and highlighted. And this is the lipstick. So I actually really like this color. I think this is a great spring shade. So definitely looking forward to testing out the other one too. And we are moving on to lipstick. This is number 136, Pivoine Noir. And again, this is another Rouge Allure Velvet Extreme lipstick. And it's a red. And to me, it looked very similar to the shade Ideal, which is something that I wanted to purchase, but do not currently have. So if you already have Ideal, you might want to double check before picking this one up. So this is the shade. And again, I am going to add a little lip liner, but I just wanted to show you the shade on its own. Just add a little bit more. For lip liner, I'm going to use the Chanel Brun Carmen, which is my favorite with reds. It's number 188. And it's more burgundy, but I just love the dimension it gives to the lips. And here are the lips. I just add the lip liner right around the edges and just applied a little bit more lipstick right on top of that to make sure the color is blended seamlessly. So I hope that was helpful to really see those colors. And overall, with the Chanel lip products, I absolutely love all three of the ones that I picked up. If I had to pick just one, well, let's face it, I love reds. I love this red. I think it has a beautiful depth. It pairs really well with Brun Carmen. But I do have other reds that are kind of similar. So although I absolutely love this, if I had to go with just one thing, I'd say the most unique is the Lock-In number 77 Dark Blossom. Personally, for me, who I absolutely love lip products, I would pick up all three of these again. I think the Chanel Spring 2021 collection, the items I picked up are a definite win for me. Obviously, the whole mess with the eyeshadow quads and so forth has kind of put a damper on the whole collection itself, you know, but I'm very happy with the items that I picked up. And if you're interested in picking up any items, I hope that this was a helpful guide for you. That I really am enjoying this Velvet Extreme formula. It lasts really well and it does give your lips a bit of that velvet texture. It's a thinner formula. It's thin like the Dior, but it's not as creamy. It's definitely more of a dry formula. Not meaning that dries out my lips, but that you just don't really have that slip between your lips like you do with some of the other creamier formulas. This one definitely has more of a matte texture to it in general. So you do have a little bit of slip between your lips, but you can feel like the powders in here. And I do feel like the Velvet Extreme does give you more of that matte look than the other velvet lipsticks that we compared on Monday. And those included the new Dior Velvet formula, the Givenchy Le Rouge Deep Velvet, which was very creamy, and the Lisa Eldridge Velvets. So this one is definitely going to be the most matte out of all of them. It's a thin, comfortable texture. Some shades can go on more sheerly like the Dior does, but they can all be built up and opaque. They last a very long time. Of course, you're going to have transfer. It doesn't completely dry down until you wear off that, slippery layer, but they will last all day like the others. So longevity is not an issue. Now, I also wanted to just do a brief comparison of the Rouge Allure Velvets. This is from the Le Lion lipsticks, and this is number 257, and this is called Rouge Triomphal. So I'm going to put this on my hand right next to the one I have on, so you can kind of see the difference in the formula. So you can see just looking at the swatches that you got a little bit of that velvet appearance. So these definitely show up as a velvet lipstick, but they're definitely more matte in general. I'm going to go ahead and apply Rouge Triomphal so you can see what that one looks like on the lips in comparison with the Velvet Extremes. All right, so let's apply the Rouge Triomphal. Okay, so I hope that was helpful to kind of see the difference between the Velvet Extreme and the Rouge Allure Velvets. The Rouge Allure Velvets are a little bit more satiny. They are not quite as matte, whereas the Velvet Extreme definitely has more of that matte appearance. It looks drier on the lips, so like no luster. There's a little bit of luminosity in the lipstick itself, which is what gives it that velvet appearance on your lips. But you can see with the Rouge Allure Velvet that it's going to have a lot more of a sheen to it than the Velvet Extreme. So it will dry down matte, and it also has great longevity. It's a little bit creamier on the lips than the Velvet Extreme. The Velvet Extreme is, you feel more of the powders in the formula than you do with the Rouge Allure Velvets. So to compare all of the velvet lipsticks, I would say that the thinnest formula is still the Dior. The Dior goes on, it can be sheer or you can build it up. And it's a thin formula with some slip, and it has a little bit more of a satin sheen in the beginning. You can see a little bit more of that creaminess. It's very comfortable on the lips. But in the about the same thinness of formula, we have the Chanel Velvet Extreme. So I would say the Velvet Extreme and the Dior are probably both just as thin as each other. However, the Velvet Extreme definitely has more of a matte appearance to it than the Dior does. The Dior definitely has a very velvety look to it. The Chanel also has a velvety look to it, but I would say the Dior has more of that velvet appearance, whereas the Velvet Extreme has more of that matte appearance. As a matter of fact, with the Velvet Extreme, you can feel more of the powders in there, giving it more of that matte finish. And you don't really feel as much slip between your lips because it's not going to feel as creamy due to all of those powders in there. Next up, I would say we have the Chanel Rouge Allure Velvets, such as the Le Lion collection. And those are going to be slightly thicker in formula. They're also a bit creamier, and they have a little bit more lustrousness, or however to say it. So they're a little bit more lustrous looking on the lips than the Velvet Extreme or velvet extreme. So they do have a little bit more of a satin sheen finish to them in the beginning. Again, they will dry down matte as well. They also have a velvety texture. Then I would say we have the Givenchy Le Rouge Deep Velvet. It's going to be a thicker formula. It's definitely going to have more of a velvety appearance and is a lot creamier. Then the Lisa Eldridge. So the Lisa Eldridge, again, I think the formula is a little bit thinner than the Givenchy, but I do think that it has a very strong velvet appearance on the lips. They look very plush. And the Lisa Eldridge is also going to be a little bit more dry on the lips. Not as dry as the Chanel Velvet Extreme. It doesn't go quite that matte, but it's going to be closer to that than the other lipsticks are. So I hope that kind of helps with comparison, and really which formula is right for you is really just a personal preference. I would have to say that my current favorite velvet formula is the Givenchy Le Rouge Deep Velvet, but I am not somebody who loves matte lipsticks in general. I feel like I like the look of them, but I don't like that dry feeling that I get on my lips. And the reason I love the Givenchy is because it still has that thick, creamy emollient feeling on my lips, and my lips feel nicely moisturized throughout the day. So that's the reason that I give that one top marks. But I absolutely love all of these velvet lipsticks, and I think they're all suitable for different occasions for me, and you can't go wrong with any of them. It's really just personal preference. So I hope that was helpful. I apologize for leaving that out of Monday's video. I just completely forgot. And obviously I didn't have these yet. So I just wanted to give you a couple of quick swatch comparisons. So this is the Chanel Les Chaînes de Chanel. It's like a blush highlighter combination that came out for the holidays. And I just want to show you what that looks like, because there's a similar luminosity with this and when you pair these together, but you can see that the shade is very different. Let me swatch these two paired so you can compare it better. So this is a mix of the Fleurs de Printemps. So you can see that the new one is definitely going to be peachy. They just have the same like luminosity level to them, but you can see that you definitely have a bit more of a bronzy look to the holiday one. It's actually gorgeous on the cheeks. It's like a dusty rose with some brownish tones to it, but I have to say I absolutely love this. You know, I love both of them. I think they're both gorgeous. And I just wanted to compare the blush duo to the Chantecaille Coral duo that came out last summer. And this is going to be very different, in my opinion. Oh, you know what? It's actually not as different as I thought. This is going to be a little bit brighter, and you know, there's a little bit more pink in there, but you can see how close those really are. The highlight is very different. This is like a deep gold, but the actual blush, that's really close. I have to say that it swatches much more deeply on my finger than the Chanel does, but it really goes on very similarly. I have to say this is one of my favorite shades. Formula-wise though, I would give it to the Chanel over the Chantecaille in this case, because as much as I like this formula, the more I use it, the harder it gets in the pan. It's like, it's harder to pick up. It's like a little bit too firmly pressed, whereas the Chanel is very easy to pick up. So just something to note. If you already have the Chantecaille, you may or may not still want to pick up the Chanel. Now, as for lipstick comparisons, I definitely don't have anything like Eclosion, and Peau Noir is kind of a basic red. You know, it's pretty neutral. So I think it's a really beautiful red. Again, this is the Le Lion Rouge Triomphal one. And then the Lock, I don't have anything like that. Now for Peau Noir, I think that's this one here in the middle. My most similar is probably going to be this. This is the Rouge Allure Ink Fusion in 836 Idyllic. And let's just put that right here. Oh, you know, it's actually not as similar as I thought. And then I also wanted to compare it to the holiday one. This is 127 Rouge d'Or. I'm gonna put this right here. You can see this here is the holiday one. This is not matte or velvet. This is gonna be like a satin finish. It has some gold flecks and it's slightly cooler in tone than the P1 Noir. And then last up, this is the Patrick Ta, That's Why She's Late. And we're gonna put a swatch of that right here. So you can see that it is similar. Again, this one's gonna have more of a pink base compared to P1 Noir. I hope that was helpful. Overall, I absolutely love the Chanel Spring Summer collection for the items that I picked up. And, you know, I think they work really well with previous collections. So they can be nice additions to what you already have without completely revamping color stories and so forth. So it's kind of nice to be able to just pick up one or two items instead of, you know, trying to decide if you want to purchase an entire collection with brand new shades. So there's a plus there. I personally am tired of the warm pinky red eyeshadow looks. So I'm hoping to see new color stories soon for the eyes, but I'm really happy with the other items from this collection. And again, I do apologize for not including the Chanel Velvet lipsticks in my Velvet lipstick comparison, but hopefully that was helpful to see here. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you soon. Have a great day and stay safe and healthy.